We've gotta be ready.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, we're gonna call the meeting to order. First order of business is we'll take attendance. Brian is here. John is on Zoom. Mr. Collins is here. Plinsky is not. I'm here. Michael is here. Mr. Sousa is here. Mr. Stone is here, and Ms. Wells is here. Wonderful, we have a quorum. We had an issue about voting on Zoom, people voting on Zoom. Chet has. What's the deal with voting on Zoom?
Basically, you can attend the meetings, but since the emergency has been lifted, the person on Zoom does not count in the quorum and they are unable to vote and be counted. So they can attend and have comment, but they can't participate in the voting.
Okay, so that issue is now moot, we're done. We don't have to worry about that anymore. Like to entertain a motion to approve the September 3, 2025 minutes. Oh, come on, it's not that hard.
I'll make the motion. I'll make the motion.
A second,
I will,
Second.
sure. Yeah.
thank you. All right, any comments?
That's pretty clear.
This is the third.
All right, being no comments, let's take a vote on approving the minutes. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstains? 2 abstains. Okay, good. Approved. I also should note that we have a Canaan citizen here. We have Ellie Davis is here in the meeting. Hi, Ellie. Okay, well, we had things published around the open seat for the board here. Is there anyone who's interested? Ellie and no, so we have no one who has showed up. That's okay, thank you. So we have no one, so we're gonna close that issue and go with the 9 that we currently have. Is that fine? Okay, all right.
I had a conversation with Daniel Bragdon, and I asked him to contact you, Sal.
Oh.
Did Daniel contact you?
No,
Okay.
I was looking for him, I kept it, when is he gonna call, when's he gonna call, but no. he
Okay.
didn't. Thanks, John. Okay, the meeting, proposed meeting schedule had one minor change to it. We added the contingency fund. Move that up in between, what was it, insurance and general government, is that, yeah,
Which,
sorry,
oh, I see it, contingency fund, yeah.
yep. Okay, so is there any other issues on that? Anybody has? I have one, Chet, when are we gonna see warrants? Should we put that somewhere in our world?
Realistically, preliminary warrants it'll be one of the 2 November meetings. I would assume it's the second one.
So the November 20?
Yes, because
Okay.
we gotta see what else is coming in.
Right. Okay,
And petition warrants need to be submitted by when?
I mean, it's technic. That's the last day that we can get them, yeah. I mean, we'd like to have them earlier than that.
Yeah, right.
Cause
Yeah.
we can plan for them and things like that, but petition warrants, I think it was January 14th last year. I don't know what the actual day is this year.
okay. Chet, on the November 20 meeting, it does, one of the things says select boards proposed budgets. You don't really put that. That's already happened, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, they basically accepted the preliminary budget, sent it to the budget committee, and then the budget committee at some point, if the select board will relook at it at some point to vote on it, but that's at the end
Okay, so that will happen on the 20th
of,
November.
no, I would say it's probably later in December, because they're gonna have to see the whole package.
Okay.
Yes.
So December 4 meeting or the December 18 meeting?
I would put it on the 18 meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Because we have to have our tax rate presentation, which is the first meeting in December. And then they would be basically weigh in at that point, but they don't have to have their final weigh in until you're officially done. When you take your final vote,
Mhm.
which we're hoping it's in December, so we don't have to be up against the
Right.
gun unless you're. Whenever you take your final vote, that's when their vote becomes official, because you might still make changes.
Okay. Understood.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
When's the deliberative session?
I believe it's
February.
January 31st at
Yeah.
this time. It's based on, yeah, we have a snow date of a week later. But we've already, I think we reserved that already.
They're gonna be at the auditorium
Yeah.
again, right? Perfect.
Okay. And just historically, I think, if I'm correct, if anybody knows better, let me know. But what we do is we have a meeting before that. And then we leave it open in some way, shape or form, right, technically, till we get to, is that right, Sadie? Is that the way that works?
I think. Well, we'll sort of like adjourn until deliberative session, and then if anything changes, in the
Mhm.
deliberative session, then we meet right now.
Right.
Same day, same day.
Same day, right at the
Yeah,
end.
same day right there, yeah,
Yeah.
okay, good, thank you.
You have the January dates for the hearing and the voting on the schedule?
Well, we're hoping it's in December. We don't want to add those unless we have to.
It was always like the 13th and the 14th of January, when you voted on the warrant articles for the budget committee.
Mm-hmm.
On
Right.
what was the first one, and the second one was the actual public.
Well, there's
hearing.
the last year, the last meeting, which was the public hearing, which was the final vote on everything, it was the 16th, I believe, so it's like right in the middle, and
Yeah.
it's actually. It's on the state's website, like it says, this is the final day too,
Yeah,
and we will have to match that, but. If the budget committee is all done at that point, basically they vote, the select board votes, and then we're just waiting for public comment to see if there's any last minute revisions before it gets sent.
But we'll have to meet in January because we'll get petition warrant articles up until the last day.
Right.
So we typically meet the day after they're due.
Right, and I
And
think,
vote on
I think this year it
everything.
was, they were due January 14th, the 15th, there was a meeting, and then the public hearing was the next day, and
Yeah.
it was finalized.
All right, so when do they do this year?
I gotta look at the calendar.
All right, well, I'll add the, I'll add
It's
the,
like, it's like it's
Session.
probably the 15th, 16th, 17th this year, I don't know. Well, no, it might be a day earlier, because the,
Second Tuesday is the 13th, so.
so it would be the 13th, 14th, 15th.
good,
So I just add anything,
sure,
all that is prescribed by law.
Right.
So you have to do it when the law says you have to do it, not when you get around to it, because I'm not faulting the budget committee, but I know that they get held up quite often by other people. So, but you're supposed to, but once you do the public hearing, you're not supposed to make any changes.
Right.
That's what goes to the voters.
Right.
If the voters change it at deliberative session, then yes, you need to vote again.
right,
But the other thing you need to be careful of, two things, is you need a 7-day notice, public notice for the public hearings that you moved on. So you need to make sure I used to firm this all up at the beginning of the year. So that there'd be no doubt, so they gave everybody a deadline that they could stick to, it's not just like whenever, you get it together.
all right,
But so, the other thing about notice is that. The secretary or whoever posts the notices, should also make sure. Whatever deliberative session is, to post a notice that you'll meet. Immediately after deliberative session to vote on any changes.
Okay.
And that's what I always did, was just, you don't need to worry about when it is. Because that's up to the selectman or the moderator, town clerk, or whoever sets the dates. But if you just make it contingent on whatever they decide, then you're all set. But you don't need a 7-day, you just need the 24 hours, like it's a regular meeting. But all that stuff is in the law, you can Google it. And my recollection is it's the second Tuesday in January for the petition warrant articles, and usually the selectmen vote that night. And then the budget committee, traditionally, we would vote the next night, and then the budget hearing the following night.
okay.
So, but it's all in the law.
Isn't that what you just said?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, so we'll firm up all those dates, you know, somewhere around, probably the meeting on the 18th. When we have a meeting on the 18th, we'll firm up all those dates. That should give us what we need, yes.
Yeah, the only challenge we had in the past is a petition warrant article was delivered electronically and it was
Yeah.
missed by the town administrator at that time, so we had some struggles, but.
Pay attention, Chad.
That won't do that.
We're putting out the hard service.
He's very computer savvy.
Okay. All right, so that's the schedule discussion, good. Do we have any, we started a conversation around, I've called it communication education discussion. And Brian has weighed in a little bit with a couple of things, probably got your. You know.
I've got some
Brian.
information today, preliminary. If you'd like.
So, we had, you and, Michael and Chet, any conversation, anything
Not yet.
happened
yet.
yet?
I'll
No
speak for-
rush, I don't think there's any
I'll
rush.
speak for
on this.
myself. I was gonna say, I thought it was, we'll get to it when we get a little more definition, right?
Right.
Yeah.
You know, but thank you for the research you did, but I just didn't think it was something we're gonna be jumping on now, because let's see what the problem is first.
I got a call back from DRA and from the South. So they owe me a call back from today. So I have 2 points of contact. I'm trying to make sure. State, all I'm looking for is what is the process of verification used by the state and by the district? And so we can have, if a citizen asks, how do you know that number's correct? Whatever that number is that we get on the bill to pay. Because if we're only off by 4 in today's money, that's 6 digits. So I'm trying to make sure that the process is known to us. Then we can decide whether we like that or not. Or whether we have anything to do with it or not, but at least it's open. And we know what that is and what's being done,
How those numbers are determined.
how those numbers are verified.
Right, verified.
So I know from looking at the new enrollment numbers that the SAU uses, they're going by the RSA 193.12. It says you'll have 2 proofs that you are a resident. First proof is your driver's license and or your ID. And the second proof is your deed or lease. That's it. So that's what the school district says that they are needing for an enrollment.
That's one piece, but what Sal was really, I think, primarily asking was about how are we gonna communicate to the community what the tax impact is from the town and what the tax impact is from the school, you know, and what that split is and the state,
Right.
you know, and that split, just so people stop saying, oh my God, I'm paying $10,000 in taxes and I don't have a shitty road. Well,
Right.
really, you're only paying $1,500 to the town.
One thing I have found too, and maybe you guys all are way ahead of me, is there's a Transparency New Hampshire that has some nice communication type of stuff that we could piggyback on, in my opinion, if we want to use that. It's easy to find, just do Transparency NH. And you go like, oh, because it says, where does money come from? And then the next one is, where does money go?
Right, and then Carrie Ann, sent a note out, that, let's see. Okay, they've already been discussing a mailing to all residents with our ballot and explanatory notes similar to how the school does each year. And if we wanted to add anything or work together on that, mailing, who's working on that now, you and?
Monica got the quote. It came in at $1,500 for a 12-page magazine mailer, the ones that like fold in half. So we know what the price is. We know our deadline. We have to get it to them mid-December, get it out by the end of December.
Yes, go ahead.
And then we were just hoping to put the ballot, that warrant article explanation notes in there. I counted that section of the town report and it was only 10 pages, 10 half pages double-sided. So theoretically, it should be 5 or 6 pages.
Mhm.
So we're definitely under that 12-page limit for the quote.
Okay, so you guys, if we want to coordinate, you know, put something in that mailing, that would probably make sense, is what you were
Yeah.
getting at.
Yeah.
Then, with the numbers that we have and we traditionally work off, it can be made into a pie graph like that. And it's accurate, correct? So, I think one of the things that I observed when I was on the select board and involved in some things is, the more simple the information, the more simple the visual, the more people understand it. So, my thoughts would be, we kind of start to think about doing something, put it on the Canaan community page and put it at the pizza place and at Evans and at Jake's and public places and have it there so people can see it. And I think that could go a long way in getting the information out to the community.
And Bob,
So like how this has percentage, I would also put dollar amount because
Oh,
what you just,
absolutely.
one of you just, I think it was you that said, I paid $10,000, only 1,500 went to the town.
Right, which is the wrong percentage, but.
No, but I
but
mean, it's an arbitrary number to prove.
Really 3,000, but.
That makes a big
Exactly right.
difference. Well, no wonder I can't do any roads. I only got $1,500,
Seriously. So I couldn't agree more. It needs to have,
but the percentage
Clear
matters
English.
and the dollar number.
yes, yeah, because the percentage, quite honestly, doesn't make sense to a lot of people.
That's where I was going.
They see it, but it doesn't compute. But if you put an actual dollar amount, my findings are that that's what people
Mhm.
really are notice.
And I would suggest as we think about it, consider putting down the average homeowner and show what that means.
But that's usually in one of the
Right.
explanatory notes, so that's usually
Yeah.
in one of those.
But if we put it on this one graph, it should be, like you say, there's a big pie, there's a number, and then it's like, what does that mean to me?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm an average homeowner and I can go, I got $100,000 house. Okay, fine.
Right.
That means this.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's how the warrant articles in the past have been. On a $200,000 house, it's $11 for this warrant.
This impact, yep,
Yeah,
yep,
same idea.
yep.
Same idea.
And one of the reasons I wanted to get involved is like the warrant articles come out and it's like, we're gonna give this money, we're gonna give this money, we're gonna give this money. They vote yes across the board and then complain their taxes are too high. So there's not that we shouldn't be doing that, but they need to understand that they approved to do all that. And if you didn't want to do all that, you should have voted no, but nobody does that.
So I have thought on that and, I think it's a double-edged sword to have on the warrant articles and on the ballot. 2 select board members approve, 1 doesn't, 8 budget members, because I will tell you. Again, the findings of the people in the community, I think the majority of the people that go in there. They vote off whether the select board or the budget committee agree with it or not.
Yeah.
So if you want people to be more aware of what they're voting for, make them read the article instead of just seeing if the select board likes it or not.
I
So
agree.
it's a double-edged sword, I get it, but if you want them to be more aware of what they're voting on, they have to read the paragraph that they're voting on.
I agree and
Most people
disagree
don't.
in that,
So do I.
because I did the same thing. If I know it, I vote what I believe. If I don't know it, I go with what the experts I trust and I elected
Right.
voted with.
And-
I think that's
and-
wrong.
And I don't think that's wrong, but I think to take it a step further, I think there are a lot of people that go in and vote that don't even read the paragraph.
Yeah, that's a problem.
You
But
know
I
what
also,
mean?
well, there's nothing we can.
Yeah,
But can we make it so we don't show on there whether the select board or the,
but I also would agree, I'll argue that there's people who vote against it, even if they vote for it, like, I wanna vote against whatever.
Yes.
this is.
I agree, and without
Well,
even
yeah, for
reading
sure.
what you're voting on.
You know, so,
If you voted to include it, you have to do it.
You can.
Well, I'm gonna put a petition article in that says that we don't have to.
It's that transparency thing
yeah.
too that we're thinking about probably, and the other part for me is like. We have a small percentage of voters, but we have probably a larger percentage of those who complain.
Yes.
They may not be voters,
Yeah.
right?
Or even residents.
Well, now.
Now,
No room for
You
that.
guys here.
So I was not here at this meeting, I wanna make sure I understand, so. The goal is to have some kind of literature that goes to voters to help them understand how the tax rate is broken down, and then warrant articles, or what's the ultimate goal here?
To give a better understanding to the community of
We're the ones going.
the fact that the school eats up the majority of our taxes,
So I
I think.
have a little bit of an issue with that. I think that is good to educate people. Canaan historically has been known to really disparage our school system and to encourage people to vote against funds for school and renovation. And especially when I see that chart and the school funding portion is in red, I don't want anything to come out of our town to look like we are trying to pit people against the school. I think we could do it, but we have to be cognizant of that.
Totally agree.
That comment was made last meeting.
Yeah,
I totally agree.
I agree with the red. If you felt like green or purple would be
It
better
should be a
there.
happy color.
Thank
But-
you.
Purple, that's our school color.
Yeah, there you go, Masco color, perfect.
But I think you're right, because that's the optics that we're talking about. I mean, you vote off what you see.
Yeah, and what Michael said earlier, I paid 10,000 in taxes, why isn't my road?
Conversation going.
Well, I think it's reasonable.
Thank you, thank you, I appreciate it.
That's all.
Yeah,
But I agree with you that
I think
don't go
that
against.
people need to make themselves aware of what the school budget consists of, because, you know, we, at one point, the budget committee really felt that the school budget was out of control. And we had 2 members of the budget committee that joined the school board budget committee and came back and said, there's nothing padded here.
Right, yeah, well, we didn't have anybody join, us, sorry.
People, I served.
And for Ellie to say that is big.
8 years.
So,
Yeah,
But see-
8 years I served.
Yeah.
And
But see-
I'll tell you, what, the last I knew, and this has been several years, 25% of the students have special needs. And a lot of what drives that budget is special ed. And the other reason is we never got the students we were supposed to get when we remodeled the school. We were supposed to get an increase in students. And people think that having a lot of students makes it more expensive, but it doesn't. You have a lot of fixed costs, and the more students you have, the cheaper it gets. And that's the other issue. And I was gonna say the third thing is we have a very transient population now since COVID. So we have a lot of people that vote, but they don't pay taxes. We have a lot of renters that don't pay taxes. So when they see that, they don't care what the impact on the tax rate is.
Okay, I think so, there's a lot of issues, go ahead, Sadie, one
One
more.
more question.
Yeah, please.
Does the budget committee have a budget to produce this and mail it? Doesn't seem like they would. It seems like it would come from the town.
Go from the town.
Okay.
So by the way, did anybody here decide to opt into the vacancy at the school committee? On the budget?
Not
committee?
I have enough on my plate.
Yeah, I talked about it with my wife and it was just a conflict with this. Oh, seriously.
No, I
She's
understand.
like, number one, you got too much going on already, and that's the night that we do blame like.
Are we married to the same person?
Quite possible.
Just,
Okay, yeah,
so while it's not a legal issue, if we're going to send out the information, it's gonna set a internal deadline that we have to get the budget done a week or 2 earlier in order to get people to have this document before the deliberative session. So we would really have to almost hardcore say we have to be kind of done where that pie chart is real or the warrant articles are real by December 18th.
Mhm.
In order to get that document through the process and mailed. People wouldn't get it till mid-January at that point. It would give them time to come to the public hearing. It would give them time to get to the deliberative session, but we can't wait till January and then have a document go out that.
I'm kind of new here and this may be an ignorant comment, but can we use last year's? Because the budget isn't approved until they vote for it anyways.
It's not about approval, it's about proposed budget.
I know, but if this would, here's an example I happened last year, pay attention this year to what's going on.
Yeah.
I think Bob has a good
It would
point.
pop up.
Meaning this, I think hopefully what the intent of this is to educate people about, there are different components
Yeah,
to your tax rate. Okay, and traditionally, we could even use a traditional average approach over the last 5 years, you've had, 10% here, 3% there, 75% here, whatever the numbers are. You know what I mean? So that they can get a better understanding of
how it works.
how it fits. Ellie just came over and showed me, she said, well, we publish these numbers. I said, yes, we do, but the problem is people are not gonna read the annual report. Most people don't even bother looking at the tax rate, what the components are.
Right.
Do you know what I
But
mean? So I think that the
Yeah, we
intent,
first,
the intent that we've got going on here is to try and make it simpler so that people can somehow or other begin to grasp the concept of what's going on with their tax bills.
Send
Right?
it for
I mean,
revision.
that's the,
So,
yes, Ellen.
Last time I checked, we had something like 2,000 people on the checklist. And 500 people voted at town meeting.
Mhm.
But we had close to, I forget, a very high percentage will come out and vote for president. Much higher, like double. But they won't vote in deliberate, they won't vote at town meeting. So 500 out of, that's a 25% turnout on the checklist. So you've got some serious problems with voter participation.
Right. Yeah.
That's where there are
So-
some people complaining that there are.
So,
And we-
for instance, the deliberative session, I think this year, we had somewhere in the neighborhood of 65 people.
Yeah, and how many of those were you?
Well,
Yeah,
And me.
agreed, so.
Okay, well, there's only so much that we can do. I mean,
Right.
we'll do what we can and, you know, if we can.
The one thing we can do when we get to education is to help them understand some, of, like you said, the fixed costs for an education. So again, with that standard of a house, we could use the standard of a student. Because then people will understand how much does it cost per student? It's supposedly, as far as I understand, DRA says it's a flat amount.
That's all.
Chet, I got one more. Thank you, Chet.
the only thing just going back to when I was talking about the schedule of getting this notice
Yeah.
out. Its purpose was to put out the things like the warrant articles and the explanatory notes. So we'd have to technically be done to send any of it.
I don't think we need to have it in there. We could do something on our own.
I
That's
was just saying, but if we have the warrant articles and all of that
Yeah.
done, that'll be done anyway. It's just that I'm just saying, we want to keep our eye on the December
All right,
18th.
so let's wrap that up because we got other
Yep,
things
you
to
got
do
it.
today, but. So let's everybody keep thinking about it and if you guys can, you know, get together and start to put some. Points together of things we need to decide on one way or the other, that would be great. We'd appreciate that.
Mhm.
Okay. All right, next business. Review of the scheduled budget items. This. Oh, sorry. Okay. We go. Oh, by the way, Mr. Duplinsky is here on Zoom. So Tom Duplinsky is now a Zoom member. Hi, Tom.
Hi, how you doing?
Good. Okay. All right.
This, Monica put the Transparent New Hampshire up there for just viewing pleasure. But that's a breakdown. I think that's the one that where the money comes from, and then there's one about where does the money go.
All right. So,
Just FYI.
all right, so let's move on to presented by Chet and Carrie Ann. Start with the executive branch. Here we go.
So really, all this is wages and insurances. Still waiting on the health and life insurance rates, but I used last year's increase. And that's what those numbers reflect. This will be the first year we have a full-time deputy town clerk tax collector, and that's split between the executive and the town clerk budget. So that if you're looking at the actual and wondering why it's low, it's because we only hired that position in June. So next year it'll be full-time year round. And then really the only changes I made was at the bottom, the town report printing. I increased that because there was 2 printing lines. One was in the general government one, and we haven't coded anything to it. So the advertising line. I increased that $1,000. There was an advertising line in the general government that we don't use, so I just increased the executive advertising by 1,000, and that's what we pay all the Valley News articles from. And then the town report printing. If we do go forward with doing a magazine mailing, I would increase that another 1,500, because right now this is just the annual report printing. And then the mailing quote came in at 1,500. Roger said the minute taker quotes are staying the same for next year.
Thank you, Roger.
There, any other questions on the executive and town administrators?
Good point.
Are we obligated To mail out the town reports.
No.
No.
We don't
We
mail.
don't mail.
You don't mail, people come pick them up,
I thought you,
and they're published online.
I thought you just said printing and then postage.
That's for this special mailing we're talking.
Okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
but it's something we decide we wanna go forward with. It's not budgeted in here. So I would just have to add 1,500 to the budget for next year, if it's something we wanted to continue with.
Jumping line that. My first line.
That's okay. Don't be afraid. Step right up.
Oh, I'm not afraid.
Okay. Step right up. It's okay.
Yeah, hold back, please hold back.
I've been wrong before.
All right, so are there any other issues? What do we want to accept as our part of the budget now? That's the next step, right? Is what are we gonna just accept these numbers and call it our recommendation at this point in time? I mean, the column here that says 2005 Budget Committee, we have to catch it.
The only line item that I would say you don't do that with is the insurance ones, because we actually don't have the actual quote, that's an estimate for
Mhm.
planning purposes. Other than that, you can accept everything else, because that's just all kind of rote.
Right, does anybody, anything else they want? I mean, we can change this later on down the road, but just to, start moving the rock up the hill. All right, so this is the department recommendation. This is the town administrator's recommendation, and this is the board of select person. selects, Okay? We need to put in ours, and this is
Oh, I got you.
ultimately what we
I thought-
will.
I was looking for one that was already filled in, I guess. that's-
Yeah, and that's why it's not filled in, because we haven't said this is what we want to do. Sadie, go ahead. You got something you want to say?
So I was gonna ask Carrie Ann, so how were 26 proposed salaries developed? Cause the percentages don't seem to be consistent.
We
No.
did, we checked the New England Consumer Price Index, I think back in July when I wrote the budget. And we used a 2.8% for the COLA based on the CPI at the time.
But I think. Like if we're just looking at the top one, that doesn't seem to be a 2% increase. It's like a
The
one.
2025 actual, that's only partial of the year.
No, if I'm looking at 2025 budget and then 2026. It goes up. Like $1,800, so like 1.7%.
Is what we had budgeted. Was just a guesstimate in 2024 for 2025. So now the actual pay rates that are out of payroll. Are what I'm using now that people are hired. And we know what they're actually hired at.
So we don't have the number. In other words, the town administrator, excuse me. Said that we budgeted $110,000. That's what we're looking at, right? And somehow or other, that number is not accurate. Meaning,
think it
in
should
terms
be
of the
that.
actual pay,
It is,
well, that's,
isn't it?
What was your question? Which one are you?
Okay, so like I'm looking at the first line, 2025 budget for town administrator salary, 110. And for 26 proposed, 111,846.
That's not a 2.8% increase is her point.
Because 2026 is based off of actual what was hired in the payroll system. When we were-
That pay is started lower than the budget was. So the 2.8 is what it should be.
Not based on the
I
110.
think
Correct.
110,
Yeah.
oh,
So you would have to-
is probably, it's probably not a legit.
Right.
Yeah, you would have
That's-
to give me an actual pay rate increase form to recalculate the budget, because right now I went through the payroll system for the 2026 budget. And then I calculated off everything that's in payroll, not what we thought was gonna be payroll like 2 years ago.
I'm still not understanding, I'm sorry if I'm
I-
getting dense, but I mean, that's what
If
we
you're-
hired you in at.
No, that was the budget. I was not hired in at that. And then the
You were hired at the 97, right?
98, I think it was.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
97.
So, and we were supposed to be reviewing that,
Who knew?
but we haven't gotten, no, we're supposed to be there.
So you have not got a review yet?
No, but that's not their fault. That's my fault.
No, I understand, but the reason I'm asking, because
It's
I'm
realistic.
looking at a $14,000 pay increase in 2 years on this budget sheet, right?
No,
No,
Because it
from
was one-
97 to 111 isn't 14,000?
yeah, but it's not a budget increase because the 110 was the budget at the time I was hired. budget hasn't changed.
Understood, so pay increase.
Okay,
It's
sorry,
paid.
Mary Ann, I thought that's what we got.
Yeah,
Well, I'm saying, but it's like because when I got hired, it was, we're gonna do this, and if everything works out, we're gonna get caught up, and we just haven't gotten to that yet.
yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's just using the numbers that she actually has today.
Okay.
But that does not apply to any of the others. Everybody, well, it actually applies to some of them, because if we budgeted $25 an hour and we hired him at $26.50, the 2.8 is gonna be on the $26.50, not the 25 we budgeted. Because it's based on what they're actually getting paid. So anybody got hired in this current year may not be exactly the same as what the budget said.
Yeah, and this holds true for a lot of the highway department, like we had to, what we had budgeted 2 years ago, we couldn't hire anyone, so we've been bringing people in at a higher rate. So when I do the personnel budget, I'm using what's actually in payroll that we agreed to pay people. Rather than looking at what we budgeted last year, which isn't accurate.
So we could generally expect some discrepancies between what was budgeted and plus 2.8%. It's not going to be these numbers for salaries, generally speaking.
Yeah, I did the best at the time that I was calculating.
Totally understood. No, as long as we understand the basis, that's frankly more accurate, meaning if you're making, $1 an hour and you're working 2,080 hours, you make $2,080.
But, yeah,
That's what it is now.
so if we look at 2025 actual, I can back into the number because that's 75% of what they've earned this year. This is actually
Yeah,
at
and
the start of Q4, so.
your
okay.
actual number is gonna be as of the date in the lower left.
Okay. Thank you.
And at some point, this will
Well,
jive or no?
it'll drive the
the
second year
end.
for any employee, but if we have any turnover, that still might happen.
Okay.
Right, when a person gets a raise,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
all these things are factored in,
things change.
but
Yeah.
Carrie Ann is taking, it says, these are all the pay rates, it says multiply by 2.8%.
Right, so,
And the insurance is another big thing, like employees that have a family plan, if they leave and then we hire someone with a single plan coverage, it saves money, vice versa.
vice versa.
Yeah. So insurance kind of like waivers through the year too.
Right, so as you produce new versions of this, somebody's gotten a raise, that's gonna change the budgeted number.
Yeah, and when we get closer towards the end, I'll go through and redo the personnel budget, cause I'll redo everyone's benefit election. With what we know at towards the end of the year, rather than when I wrote this in July.
And if I understand it, so you're not looking at you're not expecting a big increase in insurance this year?
12%.
12.
Yeah, I used the 12.5% because that was our increase
This year.
given last year. For this year.
That was.
I'm gonna pull a Sadie here then, just a minute. But so the 2025 budget was 27,000 and this one is 24,000. That's not a 12% increase.
Based off of what people actually elected. The last year when we were doing the budget, we budgeted for a family plan.
Okay,
For a
gotcha.
position that we didn't have hired.
Gotcha.
So now people are.
I remember that.
Actually know their election.
I do remember you talking about that. Thank you.
This is great, I'm glad we only have to have this for one category, this conversation, this is good.
It'll be the same for all of them.
That's right.
So when we budget
Worst case scenario.
for worst case, right?
Yes. Yeah? Anybody else have any questions about this stuff, so do we want to accept some of these numbers now, or do we want to wait? I guess is the question. For our budget purposes, for our numbers,
In the past, we've kind of just gone through the whole thing. Not saying we have to, but we've kind of gone through everything and then. If we really hit a stone wall, then we maybe gotta go back as opposed to approving everything. Each step of the way. I mean, I'm not saying that's how we have to do it, but that's how it is.
Yeah, no, well, my thought was if we say, okay, this is gonna be what we're currently recommending, right? Then we'll have our number versus somebody else's, because we may change things as
Okay.
we go along.
Then that's fine.
So our numbers might be
Yeah.
different than the ones that are currently in there. Go ahead.
It's not final until you vote on it at the end.
No, I
So
understand.
You can go back, and the issue is, like, you can say, well, we consider that complete. If a 12.5% increase in health insurance is the real number, if it's 14, then you gotta look at it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, but if it's below that, if it's 10.
Yeah.
Then we're.
The numbers are gonna change, is what I'm getting at,
Yeah.
so the question is, do we wanna, as we go through this, do we accept that? The town administrator is gonna be budgeted for 111,000, blah, blah, blah. And at some point in time, when she recalculates things down the road, number may not be 111, but we will be fixed at 111, and then we'll wanna know why it's changed from
To 135.
to 135. And then somebody will have to tell us that Chet is holding us up,
Yeah.
and that's not.
It seems to me like it makes more sense when we just have the revised numbers, no?
Well, then we won't know
Yeah, then we won't know the change.
the change, that's what I'm getting at.
And this sheet
Thank you.
here gives us a synopsis, right?
You understand that?
I do,
Yeah,
yeah. If
So
we,
you can do
if
it
we
for-
agree to this, it kind of locks us in and then we can see the difference.
that's
between-
correct.
Yeah.
Yes,
Uh,
and the only one that we won't accept now would be the,
Or you can accept it at 12.5, but
Okay.
subject that it may change.
Right, so what, does everybody agree?
I think that's a good.
A preliminary acceptance.
Yeah.
All right, yes, that's exactly right.
Yes, sir.
Anybody else have any other thoughts on that, or
No.
just go forward with it? So carry in, we'll accept all of those for executive and town administrator? Okay,
Where, and Mayor Carrie Ann says, so the synopsis here gives you the whole total and it shows the increase on the synopsis for the total executive. Which matches up with page 2. Then it shows you the rate change.
Actual dollar increase from 2025, which is a certain percentage
Yeah.
over the amount, right?
And it gives you the dollar and cents of what the percentage and the dollar and cents like we're talking about. For
Hmm.
what are you looking at right now? This is the single sheet. Everybody get one?
Yeah.
so we're through executive and town administrator. That's good. Next on our list would be theoretically on this list, financial administrator, but on our sheet, it's election registration and vital statistics. That comes under a department, correct?
That's and later in
Next,
the,
next meeting.
All right, so the next one we're gonna go to is
Page 3.
financial administrator on page 3. Administration, excuse me. Okay, and Carrie Ann, you wanna take us through financial administration, please?
the first chunk is salaries and insurances. The auditing services, I bumped it up a couple thousand because he seems to go up that much, but I didn't get an official quote on that yet. For service contracts, it'll go up a little bit. That's for the payroll system fees, the timekeeping fees. We're paying that company to do our tax filing for us. And every year we have Secure Shred come in and shred the old retention that we're allowed to get rid of. So I used this year's to come up with that number. It increased a little bit, but not much. And then the nice thing about all of our software implementations is literally every single software in town hall is brand new. So we're not planning any software upgrades. So I cut that down a whole lot. Hardware over the last 2 years, we've basically replaced everybody's computers. So we shouldn't have to do any hardware upgrades, but things always happen. So that $5,000 is about 3 or 4 laptops or PCs, depending what happens. I marked all the accounts that are closed from the old salaries. Now everything's lumped into the top one.
Is there any way in the future that we can put this up on there and we can be able to follow what you're looking at up there while you're explaining it?
I'm basically looking at the same thing, just in Excel form. It's
Yeah, I
what
know,
used
but
to
if it was
import.
up there so we could actually see what you're talking about while you're talking about it, would help me a lot.
Keep us on track because we're having to.
Yeah.
You're familiar with it and we're not as familiar.
Right. You're the smart one in the room is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, I'm trying to keep up. But honestly, these are some of the things that I wish I would ask the 3 years that I was on the board. So I never did I did ask this 100 times from the previous administrator. I never got a breakdown of what these abbreviations mean. So I really would like that, and if there's any way that we could put something up there, just so you can highlight the line you're looking at. So I don't spend half the time here explaining things, trying to catch up on here and miss what you're saying.
I think we had emailed out the
You did get that.
abbreviation.
Yeah, but.
Yeah.
To
Not everybody.
piggyback on what he's saying, I couldn't keep up with the lines you're on.
Yeah.
I have both the paper one open and the current one open. The paper one's from the 9/3 and the
Okay.
current one here. I just was confused.
We're
You
lost.
want me to, so I was just figuring salaries, insurances and taxes. Do we need to go over that for every single thing, or did you just wanna look through it?
Well, I
Can I
think,
read
what-
them?
I think what they were saying, I think what I'm hearing. Is, you moved through this very quickly. Because you're very
Okay.
familiar with
Right.
it, right?
You know, that's okay, but if we could just, if there's somehow where we could, if what you're looking at page by page could be up there and just a check mark or a highlight on the line that you're actually looking at, so we can catch up with you.
I
mean-
think we just try to be a little, carrying, just if you move slowly along the.
Or just say maybe where you are. All right,
Yeah,
well, starting at the
Starting
top, first
at
line,
the
finance
top and-
manager.
And now.
And now I'm on line
at,
7.
You know, TR treasurer salary.
But just so everybody's aware,
If you're gonna comment, yeah, go ahead.
we have an upgrade going on in here. It'll be done by the end of October. Right now, if she shares that, she can share it up there, but you're not gonna see it very well. When the new system is put in by the end of October.
Right.
She will be able to share, and then it'll be much more interactive.
Should be able to play Vanna White and touch the screen and make it.
Well, it's actually more than that. It's actually a board you can write on it if you wanted to write a note on there.
Understood.
So it's a lot of things.
Did his spreadsheet work in CIP?
What?
No, we just did it here.
Okay.
I didn't put it up.
But
We, every time I've done it, we can't see it. Cause it's on a whiteboard, because it's reflecting.
All right, so I think to Bob's point and Dan's point, if you could tell us where we are as we're moving.
yeah, like even the 390, if you happen to talk about
Say, I'm not talking about this number.
390.
There's 3 numbers at the end,
So
Yeah,
110,
Yeah.
130,
Exactly.
120.
That's what I was.
that would be the point, right?
That's how we do it.
So we know where,
Exactly.
yeah,
That's
what
all I'm
line it
talking.
is. Yeah.
Right, and even if you just put a number beside each line here and told me we're on line 56, that would work for me.
All right, I think he gets the point. I'll try and keep us on that track. So, all right, so financial administration,
if you look at the fourth segment of the account number, the 110 line is always full-time wages. So it's full-time wages, 130, the elected official salaries, our treasurer and deputy treasurer. Health insurance is one person, life insurance. And then the taxes are figured out on both the full-time and the elected official salaries. Same for retirement, the training, I cut that back because I really only go to the yearly budget committee for the budget update, and that's usually a couple $100. And I didn't sign up this year because I had a previous thing scheduled. Auditing services is the 301 account. I put that in as 24,000, it's up from 22,000. The actual right now, it's 18,800, and he still has some more work to do. We haven't gotten the audit, so we'll get another invoice from him. And then the 390 account service contracts, that was the one that I was explaining. It's the payroll fees, the tax filing fees, timekeeping, we pay a monthly fee, and then the secure shred. And then the next one's dues and subscriptions. I've really only been doing a NHMA, New Hampshire Municipal Association subscription to stay in their mailing. I haven't joined anything else. So I just kept it the same as last year at $500.
Does that cover all the committees in town? That same subscription?
No, that the big NHMA subscriptions out of the, I believe, the legal account. The one for the whole town to use.
You know what happened in 2023, because it was huge then.
Probably something got coded wrong.
That's what I was gonna guess. I'm gonna guess something got coded wrong.
DraftKings never subscribed to.
all right, good.
Easy joke. Are we still, part of the Upper Valley Lake Central Regional Planning
Yes.
Board Commission? We are, okay. And that fee is listed somewhere else, I take it? Or is that not a due in subscription?
That might be under planning board.
Upper Valley Lake Central Regional Planning Commission?
That's under legal as well.
Yeah, that would be under financial.
Yeah, but this one is only, dues and subscriptions under the Coordinator's
It's
Department.
under planning.
Okay, understand. Okay,
It's under the planning board's thing.
gotcha. Okay, thank you. Yep,
I just barely picked up on that, so I was like only about 15 seconds ahead of you.
nice. Uh,
We tried to split our dues and subscriptions out to the department that registers for them, because every department has its association that they belong to,
2023, that was probably everybody's dues and subscriptions.
Right.
That's Probably
something
what,
like that.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're gonna see that a lot.
Yep.
In a lot of different categories since Karen Ann's come on, she's really done a good job of, allocating to each of the departments their actual expenses.
Right.
yeah. It's
Magic.
It's important to do that because we report to the Department of Revenue, the total for each department. So we try to make sure everything's reflected accordingly.
And any other thing you want to comment on the financial administration?
So the total change is just under 10,000. And most of that's gonna be, half of that's gonna be possible computer budgeting.
Yeah, the software and hardware support went up. That's the very bottom. It's actually a different third statement, so 4150-60-330. That's where we get into all the software and hardware stuff. The software and hardware, last year we hired a new IT company. It's much better security, a lot more services, so it did go up a little bit. So the whole town hall portion of the IT contract is here.
Okay.
So that's 37,000. It had been at 33,000. And then I cut back on software upgrades, which is ending in 342, the account below it. And then the 740 account, I left the same.
Yep.
Just because we have all brand new
Yep.
computers.
That's it. So that's the change.
The 6330 line. Is a lot of that like one-time charges? Or is that a constant maintenance fee kind of thing?
That's constant, so that includes every month we get a charge from Adobe, that's about $100 a month. Our Civic Plus, which is our new website, that fee is paid from there, it's a yearly contract. I think it's somewhere around 13,000 for the website. And
Lots
then,
of software, hardware support, so I thought some of it was replacing hardware that you wouldn't have to replace again. That's what I'm guessing.
it's basically turned into the account that we charge all of our fees, like service agreements.
Okay.
My accounting software is charged there. And you'll see in other departments, their specific software, their yearly fees are charged at their software support line.
I guess the word hardware in there is what threw me for a loop. I don't know, maybe that should be there.
I inherited it from my predecessor, but I can definitely change it
Well,
and take out the
You see
hardware.
you're not, it doesn't sound like it's hardware at all. It sounds like it's all software.
Yeah, now it is, the way things have gone.
And then the other line farther down, hardware upgrades, that's, thank you.
Well, I think what Bob's saying is we're gonna remove the word hardware there, right?
Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
So arguably that would be either a 330 line or a 342 line. And get rid of the other.
I think the number will stay the same. I'll just remove
Yeah.
the word hardware, so it just says software support.
Okay, instead of upgrade, gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I don't get the support part. I mean, that's not on here. Cool, support and upgrade.
That's why you have the phone open too, trying to
Yep.
do the whole line.
Yep.
You sound like enough. You do TH. Yeah,
Right.
what is TH?
I'm guessing town hall.
So that's the one, that's TH is Town Hall?
It is,
That's an educated guess.
PR is.
that's fine.
Treasurer.
Treasurer, yeah. That's on the list.
That's on the list, okay.
Oh, yes, who's that thing?
Okay.
Cool.
All right, enough of financial administration, so we'll accept all of those. Okay, very good. Next would be data processing. Real thing.
We never charged anything to it.
It
So,
doesn't show up on here. Does it?
What page are you on now?
I'm not, I would not have one, I'm just,
Gotcha,
I
gotcha.
think that's just the holdover from previous years.
so there's no such thing.
I don't believe so.
So we can remove that. Okay, I'll clean that off of the schedule. Thank you. That makes sense. I love it. Good.
We're gonna be home by 10.
Next,
Yeah.
next is assessing. Once we get into this, we'll move a little faster. Okay, assessing?
The 110 line is the full-time salary. Health insurance for that position is 210. Life insurance, taxes and retirement. Both big accounts below it. For the 240 line for trainings, I know she has been making an effort to take training classes as they come up. She's still 2 years new to her position. So we just bumped it up another $100. Last year, she missed a few due to personal reasons, but the trainings she did go to were $470. So she asked for a little bit more money to take more trainings this year.
So is that still Rebel?
Yes.
It is. So who is the new person that's in there and what is her job?
Christina?
Yeah, I guess.
Christina is 50% deputy clerk and tax collector, and 50% assistant to the town administrator's office.
Gotcha.
And she's actually working mostly on the town administrator side, a lot in finance. And other assistants where she's taking in funds that aren't tax collection funds and things like that.
I think she's working largely with you.
Between her, yes,
Okay, and she's doing
50%.
part-time as the deputy clerk?
yes.
Yeah.
She was doing clerk training today with the clerk. Christina Rogers, if you haven't met her, go talk to her. She's very positive and
Sure.
I think a great person at that point.
She's, we are very pleased with her
Yeah.
contributions to date.
Good. See the good face on that window. Positive.
Moving on to the tax mapping, the 313 account, we kept that the same as last year. The fees seem to be, all the actuals in the previous years seem to be within that, so we just kept it the same.
That's Avatar?
Avatar, yeah, and they print those big
Yeah.
tax maps with the roads and any changes, so that falls into that.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, Avatar.
Who's responsible for making that up to date? The Avatar tax maps, like,
Basically, that is, when any property is sold, subdivided. Or done, when it goes into the system, we send in the survey maps to. The company and then they update their tax maps
I mean,
and then send them back.
there was one property in particular that I was looking at because I was trying to find out who owned it, and I gotta believe it was 9 months and it hadn't changed at all.
Well, we just got a new map in the office, I'm
Yeah.
not sure.
Yeah, I think they only update it once a year.
And
Yeah.
also the other, all of the deeds and things, have to get uploaded into
Process.
Avatar and it appears we're a little behind in that area.
I mean, we are a little bit, but they're mostly, the state is, well, Avatar.
This is, well, it's not the state, it's an independent company.
Right, Avatar. I just was curious. I mean, it wasn't like life threatening, just.
I was looking at other stuff too, because that number you're talking about, those numbers, there's some aggregate stuff that's going on at New Hampshire GIS as well. And that all feeds into the GIS map that's out there too, so there's lots of.
Yeah.
Correlation between different agencies in the state.
I was just looking to
Using the
see,
same number.
there was a property that sold and I just
Yeah.
wanted to see who bought it, who's
Yeah.
the names of the people that bought it, and 9 months later it hadn't changed.
Mm-hmm.
I was just kind of curious.
Avatar also takes input from the county, don't they?
Yeah, but I think the issue is if we're behind with uploading deed changes in Avatar, it's just not gonna say it.
Yeah,
If it's an
right,
ownership change, it's really just that data being uploaded.
gotcha. Oops, great.
Oh, you just told us you had an assistant.
What's that?
Oh, you just told us you had an assistant.
Well, that's what I was gonna ask. We should be now catching up. Right?
Just so you
My
know.
exact same question. I was gonna
All of those deeds go to the clerk's office. They are not town administrator duty and don't even have access to it.
I thought we have all this new hands on. All right, so and all the 330 accounts are gonna change to say, it's just, software support? Let's just not do it each time, but so they'll all change. When you change the one, they all change. 330, yeah, okay.
And then, the 330 account for assessing, we increased that $1,000, 2024. We spent 6,700. We haven't paid the whole bill for this year yet, so the actuals of 1,700. We'll have more coming in towards the end of the year, so 6,000 wasn't really cutting it, so we added 1,000. The 390 account for the contract appraiser. Next year in 2026 is our reappraisal, so we have to save an extra 27,500 to put towards their reevaluation. And I also added in, there was a little increase for the assessor in his contract. Every year it goes up a couple thousand.
And on the contracted appraiser, that 27.5 will be a warrant article, as we did before, to put it in the reserve fund, because we already have, I think, 47,000 in there. So we gotta raise the balance this year, so it's not an increase net because it's coming out of the reserve accounts, so just so you are aware of that.
And the state tried to force us to do it last year.
Like you
The
said,
people
no.
in town said no. It was March.
Good for us.
Well, it was one of those things, we
I
actually
don't
got
know
the
why
letter.
People didn't like that idea.
That's what we're doing 11, by the way.
We were required to do the reappraisal this year, and we said no and put it to the voters so that they wouldn't be able to yell at us, and
Very smart.
we said, turn it down.
All right. So any issues with assessing, or are we good there? We're good?
Same, Bill Todd.
No, it's Brendan. Todd,
So
it's
Brendan
been-
Todd's bill.
Todd had some issues at the state level, and then he moved to upper level and overseeing other stuff, and he now is all set. But Brendan is staying on doing our reappraisal,
Okay,
and Brendan's been excellent.
and he's familiar with the cat.
Yes.
Been there several years, so. Mhm. All right.
We good? Let's take it all in. Good, very good. Accepted. Next, legal.
I did my best with the legal budget. We didn't use legal a lot for the longest time. 2024 was when we started actually using them, so I really just increased it a little bit. I think, looking at our year-end numbers for 2025, it looks like we're gonna go a little bit negative. I just wanted to increase it, so next year we're more in line with what we're actually spending.
Karen, do we, I know still unresolved were some of the properties that were tax deeded and then sold a number of years ago. Have we resolved if we're going to see additional consequences of those?
We did move the money into the account, so it's not looking like it's in our fund balance, and then we have to work with the lawyer.
It's a liability account in the neighborhood of $120,000.
This is the extra money that the town kept.
Yes,
Okay, but do we know if any of those, it was not clear title, we're gonna have fees to,
basically, we're gonna prepare the same thing that was prepared when we did the Sears one is, we have discovered that this is the issue. Please sign here, we will send you this money. And clear that up, but we don't know what will come after that with any of them.
so there was a balance of 100 and. it must have been
20,
Like 40 or
120,
something.
130.
Sears out like 30,
38,
so we carried that as if it was town funds.
yes, it's now, they're all listed as liabilities now.
How many of those are there?
6 more.
Well, and if we're educating everyone, it's directly because of Mike Sampson, so.
All right, okay, let's move on.
Let's move on. I mean, listen,
That's
let's
enough.
move on, but that's the reason we're in this mess. For somebody to speak up, and I've been speaking up for 4 years, so I'll keep doing it. It's nothing to do with anybody in this room. It's one person.
All right.
I just wanted to make
Call it like it
sure,
is, Sal.
Yeah,
We don't need to just move on.
it's okay.
That's not okay.
It's not as relevant why you got here as it is that we are here.
Well, sometimes it is to some people,
Okay.
right? So maybe some of us feel differently about it, and I will speak my mind when I want to,
Absolutely,
period.
and we welcome it.
But we
Thank you, Dan.
think 50 is gonna cover us.
I think that was her point.
Yeah, because we just keep on covering things.
Right.
I don't want to, under,
we're doing a lot of corrective legal work.
Right, so I think the question now becomes in Sadie's mind, and I think in all of our mind, is 50 enough?
yeah.
So-
So it's an 8% increase from,
If you add together all the legal lines, which is the 320, 321, 322, 323, all the way down to 324. You add those ones, it comes to 84,800 that we're requesting. The actuals as of today, we spent 50,000. And that was only through the end of July. We just had the August bills come in.
Do-
But I don't know how much they were. We haven't paid them yet.
Do you know? Or does Chet know? Is that normal, or did we have, I know there was a bunch of hiccups that they found that we didn't do and the lawyer had to get involved in all this stuff, but once we fixed that.
We should be going down.
Yeah,
The reality is, we are spending an inordinate amount of fees and time on repairs. We are going to have things to do with legal documents that are current. I don't imagine it would ever be near those numbers 2-3 years from now, but every time we think we're caught up, something comes up.
yeah, but I mean,
It's just been really unusual. It's amazing the number of things that have come out.
I know 2024 and 2025 seemed like there was a lot of stuff that came up.
And we're not done, because we just started a whole new realm.
So are we gonna be discussing that at select board meetings? Is that where I come and beat the can instead of this meeting?
If
Cause I
you-
wanna know.
The reality is, when we have another item, everything goes before the select board. There is nothing done without select board involvement and public knowledge. So just like when we talked about the 120,000, we brought that to the public.
Yeah.
Anything else, because at the end of the day, all the corrections, whether it's deed corrections or anything else, has to come before the select board for approval.
And I don't mean to sound argumentative. I'm gonna take a second breathe here, but I will say. The reason I say, myself personally, it's important if we're talking about educating ourselves on things to do with where our money is and why it's there. I know that there are people sitting on this committee right here. That at a deliberative session. Said that they feel like Mike Sampson really did his best to cross his T's and dot his I's and make sure everything was right before he moved forward. And if those people are gonna sit on our budget committee and have an understanding of this, I think we should all understand why we're in the mess. I don't think we need to beat on it and keep after it. My job was done, right? I was the guy that did that. But I think it's important that we know that he did not cross his T's and dot his I's. And he is the reason we're in this mess digging ourselves out. So. That's what it is.
If we anticipate a year similar to this year. Then 5 would be sufficient based on those numbers through
Yes.
July, so, okay.
Yeah, and that's really what I did is I took the July actuals.
Yeah.
Divided by 7 and multiplied by 12.
That's what I did too.
Did my best.
And the positive in this is, as some of these corrections are moving forward, with the exception of the 120. Other corrections and legal costs are gonna actually start to bring some money back to the town. You know, because whether it's tax sales or, things that people going, because we're also in the process, because we're doing the reevaluation in 2026. We are looking at every exemption and every current use file to make sure that they're still current. Like, they haven't been reviewed or checked in many years. So when you have 50 pages of current use properties, it's like, how many have been sold and we don't know what's happened? You know what I mean? So as we go through the reappraisal process, and we interviewed somebody for a part-time position through the end of the year to start going through the files and look at. What can we get addressed? What can we get cleaned up and make sure that the files and our records are correct? And that's where we're starting.
Yeah, I guess I was just thinking that this is legal, we're talking about legal fees for attorneys, and because we found some stuff we screwed up, we had more fees than usual. And presuming we're not gonna find more of those, we wouldn't need more money next year, we'd need the same or less, that's where I was going.
Well, we're staying the same for this year.
I
Maybe
thought
2 or
it
3
went
years.
up.
Well, it's 84,000 is what's in the budget now, and
I was looking at I actually on the wrong line.
Yeah.
legal's up 10. She increased the one from 40 to 50. Right?
The town attorney up to 50, yeah,
Yeah,
45 to 50.
if you go down to the last line, the 690 account, the Grafton County Prosecutor.
Yeah.
That is the contracted rate. And I got that number from the police chief.
I'm still looking
So that
back
was
at
another
320.
increase.
I'm still looking
Yeah.
up at 320, the attorney that we had to hire to dig us out, right?
Yeah, that
But
got,
not what that, it might not be what that is.
the 320 account was increased 5,000. And then the Grafton
Right, just,
County prosecution was increased.
yeah,
another
let's focus on Bob's point. What he's saying frankly is that we had 45 and we're at 50.
We're at 5,000.
And we're debating what's going on. So far, year to date, we're already at 49,663.
And we
We're
just
gonna
got
have more.
5 new bills, and we got a lot more coming between now and the end of the
Right,
year.
so we're
We
saying
just started a
that we're
whole
gonna
new
be
process.
somewhere
We
in the
haven't
low
seen any
50s
bills.
plus.
And that's all 2025,
Yeah.
Yes,
and it'll be paid in 2025, and
Correct.
unless we had our head up our butt and do this again next year, we shouldn't need this much money.
Well,
That's what I'm saying.
remember, we're talking about problems that some of them are 15 and 20 years old. Like, these aren't things that are current.
So
So,
we're anticipating finding more.
yes,
time.
there's a lot of things that are going on
Okay.
that we have to readdress. And it's better to be safe this one year, and then we'll see how we're doing and talk about this next year.
the 50 is a
That works.
educated guess by these guys is what I'm getting at, and it could be more, could be substantially more, could be substantially more. Could be substantially,
We're
not
thinking-
substantially less, but it could be less,
We're thinking we need the same for next year.
at least, and maybe more.
And, right,
Yeah.
but at this point, that's probably fair to say.
So that's a good guess.
And like we were saying, these numbers are all fluid, so,
Right.
you know, as things continue to happen over the next couple of months, if we feel that we should. Adjust it, then we can.
Yeah, like at some point in time, they're gonna come down and you know, the next time she runs this, the number 49 might be 60. And then we're gonna sit here and say, oh geez.
Well, the thing is, you're gonna see one,
And find out why.
the next one you get will have this last group of bills in, and then by December 1st, you're gonna get another
It
whack.
probably will be
back.
60.
And that one's gonna be, well, we already know that one's gonna be 10,000.
Yeah, so,
There's 59.
you know what I'm getting at?
Well, but my only
Yeah,
thing,
no, I
I
think it's
don't
important to
care
know.
what 2025 did unless we anticipate that happening in 2026.
That's exactly
If you
right.
got a, like, the hardware question I had,
Sure.
you put all new computers in, you had a big year. You're not gonna pay that next year because you just put new computers in.
Absolutely.
That's all, that's what I was thinking.
Sure.
That's all.
So I think this is, at this point in time, it's a good guess and,
Okay. We're gun shy a little, so it's good to be gun shy.
yeah, my gut is somewhat, Bob,
You
I
got
think
the
it's,
number.
I think it's gonna be more when we get finally down to the end of the world, but.
Let's not.
But we'll know, if a lot of them get resolved in the next few months, then. You know, get understood. So we're good with assessing, let's accept, legal, excuse me, are we good?
Yeah.
Let's take all that in, good.
Like my opinion.
Okay, personnel
I'm saying
administration.
yes.
This is an easy one. The only thing that we're budgeting for is the CDL drug testing. What had happened a couple of years ago was the government mandated that we test twice as many people as we had been testing. So if you look back at a couple actuals, you'll notice that it jumped up a little bit. We did have Q2, just about every single one of our guys got chosen for a random drug screen, so that's why our actuals are so high. So I increased it to 2,200 up from 1,400.
It's based on percentages, the requirement for testing.
No, it's supposed to be random, but like we have one person that gets picked every quarter. And we don't know why, but
We're in a pool.
yeah, you're just in a
So-
pool and it's a computer, like a.
Pool
like-
of towns.
Like,
Yeah.
no, a number of CDL drivers, and
Right.
Okay.
it's supposed to be a random selection.
Gotcha.
Dale used to get called all the time.
Yeah, I know.
It's weird, yeah. Hey, fucking the last guy, you gotta worry about it.
Any
Yeah, right.
questions on personnel administration? Good to go? Good to go. Take it and move on. Thank you. Okay. That's good. Now we gotta find. Insurance, where was that? been?
Insurance, is an account 4196. So it's gonna be on. Page 8, yes.
Which page?
Page 8,
8, yeah, it looks like 8.
4198.
4196.
We haven't gotten our property and liability quotes yet, so I just kept it same as last year. In general, every year our property and liability's been increasing 10 grand, but it gets split out to all the other departments.
Picked a good one, so.
Thank you. Any issues there? Let's move on.
Is that insurance that you get
Sorry.
like from insurance companies that specifically work with municipalities? They just work with municipalities?
We use Primex, which is the one that that's all they do is
just
municipalities.
municipal.
It's basically almost like a state association.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just, there are pool.
And unfortunately, my brain now starts to recall things. We had issues with things not being covered.
Yes.
Are they all squared now?
Well, I
We've got-
believe so, and actually I should be getting the list to make sure everything's in there, so I should be doing that shortly.
Including the bathhouse.
Bathhouse, the museum was in there, that wasn't the one that was missing.
You don't know. That was a prior meeting, you don't wanna know.
Have a meeting after the meeting.
Yeah, there's.
Off the record.
Contrary to popular belief, there are some things I don't wanna know.
This one you definitely don't wanna know. Okay, good, insurance is done. General government, which is a little bit below that, okay. Oh, do we move contingency fund in next? Contingency fund, sorry.
Yeah, I just kept that the same. We spent the tax collector's software basically died a slow death and we were forced to replace it this year. So that got charged to the contingency fund. And we're also charging this upgrade to the contingency fund as well. So that'll wipe it out. So we figured 50,000 was good for unforeseen things happening next year.
The upgrade for this room is, we talk about that in the select board meeting?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't agree with that, but it was already decided, and I think that's a horrible idea, but say la vie.
To do what?
To budget something out of the contingency fund.
The issue was when we had a budget line item in there last year. Going through the process, and when they were looking to save some money, we were told by one of the members, use the contingency fund if you really want to do it, and if you have the money. Because they were using that line item to cut it out of the budget. So it got cut out when we had it budgeted as its own line item.
But if we have a contingency issue next year, we don't have any contingency budget.
Well, we're hoping, and hopefully we're gonna be able to, when we have our next meeting, report to you that we have dramatically improved our undesignated fund balance. And its projection, we will be able to survive some small problems. You know, because the goal is we have to have our undesignated fund balance up to 2 months worth of money, which is 1.6 million.
Well, let's have a little conversation about that so that the new folks understand what's been going on there. You wanna give us a little.
Well,
history
basically,
on that?
if we go back to the history, and I can give anybody a spreadsheet that wants it, we went back and looked at what the funds were both in the past years and then what the budgets were. But we had an undesignated fund balance, which is meaning year after year. You have money left over. You're supposed to let it build up so that you have the ability to have between 8 and 15% in the bank that's not designated to something.
That's not required by law, but it's
It's what you,
recommended.
it's highly
That's
recommended because, I mean, basically you're looking at a 2-month issue. And, you know, we're currently taking out tax anticipation notes because we don't have one.
And it can affect your bond rating and your interest rate though.
Sure.
So there are downstream impacts
Right.
to not having.
Oh, yes, no, I agree with
So-
having one.
So we had $1 million one in 2010, 11. It went negative in 2021.
Which is illegal.
And it then became, we had last year, the end of 23. It was predicted to be 175,000. But it didn't, because we weren't calculating all of our liabilities that we were just talking about earlier, at the 120,000, we really had like a $50,000 undesignated fund balance. So we have nothing. We worked hard this last year to try and build it up a little bit. We're hoping it's gonna be in the couple $100,000 range. We're supposed to have that audit anytime now. And this year we're running where we have a couple $100,000 again that we might be able to build, so we're hoping to desperately get to the absolute minimum state, which like, I think that's 600,000 or 700,000 we have to have. So we're like way off the charts low. So the goal was the contingency fund, cover something that's a mistake because we don't have any fund balance, and also if we don't use contingency fund, we'd like to put that in. Going forward, like that will become undesignated fund balance over time.
So
Sadie?
contingency fund is not non-lapsing. That's what I was going to ask. Like, is it non-lapsing? No, because then we're gonna transfer it to.
Well, you don't transfer any, the undesignated fund is just our bank balance, so it
Yeah,
just
so it
sits
gets-
in our
okay.
balance. We don't, because when you get to your targeted. Undesignated fund balances, we're required to then start offsetting taxes with the excess after that. The goal is to get to the,
Wait, could you say that again? Cause I'm a taxpayer. What did you just say?
the goal is
Yes.
technically money that's left.
That's why it got so low.
Money that's left over is supposed to go back to the taxpayers.
Yeah.
Less what you need to have in the bank.
Yeah.
And
So-
if we actually fulfilled our undesignated fund balance, it eventually would then go, if we save $200,000, that would save you 4% on your tax rate the next year.
Yes, I
Yeah.
like that.
So Bob, in
That's the goal.
2011, there was $1 million in there.
Right.
But then we kept dipping into it to keep the tax rate low.
We were
And
paying
we
the
just
tax
did it
rate
too
and
much.
buying things with undesignated fund balance rather than maintaining it.
And I get all that. I would just say, did the town vote for the upgrade in here? Not the select board, the town.
It was not a separate line item, it's just a budget.
Did they vote on a line item in the budget to pay for this?
So that, I'll just, and that, the way the budget works is there's just an amount.
It's the total.
And this was under
fluid.
contingency at the time?
So everything in here really is fluid, so sometimes it's like, we have underspent one line item, and when you have something in this other department that's an emergency and we need it, we'll buy it, cause we just can't overspend the total budget.
I get
But
that.
we don't, it doesn't. There are lines that are way over and lines that are way under, so. No, the town voters don't vote on every single purchase and every single item.
So I guess my
Which is why we
point,
have this.
So last year they
select board.
did vote on it, they de facto voted on a contingency fund
Right.
budget of 50 because they voted for the entire budget.
So,
I know what you're going with, but line items technically don't matter. They're
Right.
just an explanation of how the total numbers come up with.
Yeah.
They don't actually matter.
so
One other example that I always present at the select board meetings, as we have turnover and positions are open, employees don't get benefits until after 60 days. So we always, as turnover happens, we end up having a chunk of money that's not spent. And the last time I presented, it was around 250,000, so
Yep.
that's when we approved all the, like, the heat at the sewer plant. And
This was one of them. This was one of the things on that list.
I get all of that, I really do. I can't reconcile in my own head why I wouldn't put 50,000 in the budget for this upgrade. And 50,000 into contingency. And let them vote on that, because hiding it into contingency, I don't think is above board.
No, there wasn't hiding it. It was,
Yeah.
the comment was, we need to buy one. It's not working. We're not gonna be able to do Zoom soon. We said, we put it in the budget last year. They cut it out. They said, so there's nothing in the budget for that system. It's not like double budgeted.
So there's nothing in the budget for it, but we're going forward with it.
Because it's in this, well, there was,
And we're paying for it out of contingency.
what I can tell you is, the compactor that we're replacing at the transfer station is not in the budget, but it's a necessary thing. It failed and we have to replace
Is
it.
is the compactor in under contingency?
it doesn't.
That doesn't matter. That's the point. It doesn't matter where you align it. We could take that out. We could take this room out and put it under another line item. It just won't have a budget for it. It was just, this is what we were told to do. That's what we did.
And I'm telling you, they shouldn't have told you to do that.
Okay.
You don't plan a planned upgrade and pay for it knowingly with contingency, because if another software breaks down, you don't have the contingency, you spent it on a planned thing. That's all I'm trying to
I
say.
understand, but
I
in this
don't-
particular, and I agree with you, but in this particular case, We had $250,000 of contingency because it's not we have extra money. Okay, and it was bought with that extra 250. We wouldn't have bought it here. We just had to have a place to charge it to.
Okay.
We didn't.
I'll stop talking. I think it's wrong. I'll stop talking.
So but the budget just kind of like resets to zero at the end of the year. We can't carry funds over unless it's in the undesignated fund balance. But also, so the warrant articles, the petition warrant articles used to be part of the budget. And then we had a select board that pulled them out, and I was not in agreement with it until they explained. If it's in the budget and voters approve the overall budget, select board doesn't have to pay those. Like, so even if it's a line item and it's designated towards something, if something else comes up and that money is needed somewhere else in town, they don't have to pay.
I do the same thing on our budget at church at a smaller scale, so I understand this underspent, this overspent, we're still on our number. I understand all that. I'm just saying. Putting it in the contingency, intentionally putting in a contingency is wrong.
Is it because you don't feel that it's an important upgrade?
No, because contingency is for something unexpected, not something planned.
Well, something
The
unexpected.
definition of contingency is unexpected.
Yeah, so we won't be able to have Zoom and it's not gonna work in this room pretty soon. And we have all kinds of regional training that happens here for fire and EMS. And if we can't do that, that's a problem. And then we have voters saying we're not transparent because we don't have Zoom, so. It was something that came up that was unexpected that we needed to do. That's a contingency.
Yeah, because we weren't gonna do it in a line item because it wasn't in there, but it actually started failing and stopped running. And we're like, okay, we're not gonna be able to wait now.
So when are you gonna do this?
It's gonna be done at the end of October,
Okay, so that's not in
26th.
2026,
No.
which is what we're talking about.
Yes,
I was
Correct.
this year.
This whole time, I thought we were talking about 2026 contingent.
no. No, we are not planning to do anything with that. The goal is
There is no
that,
planning.
actually, to be honest with you.
That's okay. I was
If
confused, but
everything
now I
goes,
get.
if everything goes relatively right, we want that 50,000, and that's why it's there. Was so that if we have a good budget year, it'll go to undesignated fund balance. That's its goal.
Yeah, so was the 34,000 from the 2025 actual software, like Carrie Ann said, or was it this upgrade?
It's,
It's soft
What was
20,
the stuff?
the software and then the server stuff. The
Servers.
AC.
yeah, the
We
server
think
was,
it's
was that
server.
8,000?
Yeah, we had to get AC on the server because it was overheating.
We had.
So this 34 is not including the upgrade here. So this, the contingent, it's gonna go over, but that's
Yes.
last year.
Right,
Yeah.
All right, in my mind, that was last year, 50,000 this year contingency is gonna pay for the upgrade. That's what I was,
yes, no, it's
I'm
next year,
sorry.
we're
I
not touching
apologize.
next year's, otherwise, if we were, still had to do that, it would be a line item again.
that's what I was saying.
Yes.
I
For planning
missed-
purposes, it will always be a line item. We,
Bear with me, guys.
both Carrie Ann and I are
Well,
very
that's fine.
focused on, because we want this budget to go correct for years, and we wanna make sure we're putting things to the correct line item, so we actually can track something real. That's the goal.
I understand how we can move on.
Yeah,
All right.
honestly, Bob, I think that's an important job as an elected individual on the budget committee,
Just
to
ask
ask
the
questions if you don't
Agreed.
understand.
Agreed.
And I've sat in a lot of budget meetings where nobody asked any questions, so.
Because if you don't get it, there's at least two of us that is on the same
Yeah.
boat.
Yeah.
Probably more, you know.
I was the old
All right, so
I got it down.
contingency. Good to accept 50,000 as a contingency number for.
Yeah.
What do you mean by contingents?
Like
All right.
Webster says, I have the Webster app on my phone.
Next would be general government, please. Let's go. Thank you.
We're not gonna make 10 o'clock. I love it.
Oh, no, we're not gonna go past like 8:30 or so. We'll see how we do. We all get tired, you know, and then our brains don't function, so we'll do what we can. General government, please.
A half hour.
Well, to some of us, maybe.
We have a December deadline. We better keep going.
What does it say?
Let's go.
General government is basically anything at town hall that covers multiple departments. So phone and internet, the 341 line, that's for the internet coming into town hall. We have a couple of cell phones at town hall. Also, the plain regular old phone lines that come in get charged here. And the 15,408 is what it calculated out to for next year.
So it's up like $2,800 or something.
2,600.
2,600.
Yep.
Yeah, and the printer lease, I increased that because when I did the 2025 budget, I forgot that we pay a quarterly maintenance fee. So if you look at the actuals, that's why it's gonna go negative at the end of the year, so those,
That's important.
yep. And then the 390, the contracted services, that is the pest control. And then the town hall, we have those rugs that get swapped out every couple weeks by UniFirst. But I believe the pest control was started last year.
You just kick people out to complain?
Well, it was originally designed for me. But the issue was, there was actually a significant amount of visitors that we really didn't need.
They left us presents every morning.
So. Speaking of, a couple of years ago, there was, I don't know, a few years ago, there is a substantial ant issue at the meeting house. And I only bring it up, just to have it on somebody's radar. We were supposed to have had JP Pest coming in the spring and the fall. I never saw that happen. But we're putting a lot of money into that building. And there's a real ant issue in the entranceway.
And yeah, and
Just
we didn't get to that
something-
today, but it's, the other thing is the basement basically fills up with water every summer or spring.
At the
So
meeting
it's like,
house?
oh yeah, it's like full, like John has to go in to chest deep water to go work in there. So there's things, we have a lot of things to address at that building.
Is it not have a sump pump?
Meetings will
It
be
doesn't
October
always, it doesn't work at that well, and because of the elevation, it's just a whole
government
mess.
building.
That's good. I'm gonna bring that, I'm gonna be talking about that.
Go ahead, kiddo, next.
Office supplies, we cut that in half because it seems like we're just not buying office supplies like we used to. Postage, the 625 account. We increased that a little bit. We think we're gonna be mailing more stuff. What we figured out is we're not mailing things that we're supposed to be.
Yeah, there's things that have been mailed in years past that are not currently happening, and we reduced it last year unaware, and now we're finding out, so we're gonna have to start sending more. And actually, it'll align with a lot of certified mail and stuff like that, so there's notices we have not been addressing.
Say again, Sadie?
Watch the select board meeting from this week if you want more info.
Okay, thank you.
The 691 account, office equipment, I kept that the same. It seems to be suffice for everybody's chair replacements and office things. Mileage reimbursements. Actually, 2024 in November and December, I really started telling the employees that we're required by the IRS to reimburse for mileage. So you'll see previous years before that, employees just weren't turning in mileage forms. So 2024, they actually started. So this will be the first year that we have any good numbers to go off of. So other departments will have higher mileage in there.
So do you have enough in there then? I mean, if
think-
you've got,
For the town hall employees, I do, because the people I thought were gonna turn mileage in, they're not. And then
What-
the others that are,
What kind of things are we reimbursing mileage on for what?
so the
trainings and things?
transfer station uses a personal truck to run around town every day and pick up garbage. When the police department sends someone to training, they're driving their personal car, so we reimburse them for mileage for training for the months that they're going.
And building
And then-
inspector,
Yeah, building inspector is big, and then at town hall, somebody every single day goes to the post office and the bank. And they get mileage reimbursements.
Should take the train.
E-bike.
are you
So-
gonna be the conductor?
E-bike.
So we're paying people that are salaried. A building inspector that's salaried to drive around town and go to the buildings that he's required to inspect. We're paying him a mileage to drive around town to do that.
No,
Because
it's
it's-
wear and tear on it.
It's wear and tear on the vehicle.
He doesn't have a town
That's what-
vehicle.
That's the whole point of mileage, is it's supposed to pay for not only fuel, but what the
Depreciation.
estimated depreciation is. It's a whole calculation.
Understood. So what are we doing with the old cruiser that's still sitting out back there doing nothing? Is it still
It
sitting
doesn't,
out
that
there?
one doesn't work. So actually, the one that was operational, the fire department took, and the deputy chief is running that. So we don't have one currently, and the one that's coming out of the police department this year is one that we don't wanna keep, because every time it rains, it won't run. And it's been back to the dealer multiple times and they can't find out what's wrong with it, so that one's gotta go away.
So Carrie Ann, we're looking at 802 right now.
Yes, 802.
So this year we do 1,500, but in 26, we think we're gonna drop it to 500. And that's gonna work.
Yes, because the building inspector, we started charging to the building inspector
Okay,
department.
good.
In other departments.
Okay.
Good,
There
good,
you
good.
go.
The 820 account, the registry of deeds, this is similar to the postage. We found we were supposed to be sending things that we haven't been sending, so that's why the actuals look so low. But we don't have a good estimate of the quantity of documents we should be filing there.
And that's a filing fee. These are
Yeah, the
fees.
filing fees.
Yeah. You'd be,
So we just, yes,
took a wag.
we really just took the money out of postage and put it into the registry of deeds.
Yeah.
And it was kind of a net zero.
Good thing John's not here.
He even dropped off Zoom.
He did.
So did Duplinsky. Said, I'm bored, I'm out of here.
They got it.
You took the money out of postage from general government postage or some other place postage?
Or did I think I meant office supplies.
Yeah, I was
We
gonna
cut
say, because
this
postage
one.
went up 2,000.
Yeah, they
Okay, that makes
basically
more sense.
Cut
But,
one and added it to the other.
yeah,
and then-
that checks out, thank you.
The 830, the advertising and notices, that's the one that we moved up to the executive, because we just haven't been charging anything here.
Okay. Any other questions on general government? Good? Good to go.
Yeah.
All right, let's accept that one and move on to streetlights. Where are they?
All the way past the highway.
4316.
Right after the highway, I think. The highway.
16.
Streetlights.
Streetlights.
Doing a little
Is that
bit of work on this.
Song, right? Then so. All right.
So the street lighting account, I just kept it the same at 20,000. This is the electricity for all the lights in town. The actual as of
Yeah.
today, when I ran my report, was $10,000. So it might be slightly over.
And based on some of the requests and some of the research we're doing, we are going to be looking at the possibility of upgrading some of the lights that are there because they're not putting out enough light.
Right.
So having a little bit of a cushion would be good, but in addition, it could go down if we find a way to get them into LED. Like, these are all things that we're gonna try and do and get those lights upgraded, the street lights that we're paying Liberty for.
Does this include Route 4 lighting as they need replacement?
Route 4, not the pedestal lights, all the street lights, yes.
Street lights. Okay, that includes that.
Yes.
And the pedestal lights are included in this too? I say
don't know.
pedestal, those are the four.
I know which ones you're talking about, and I don't know where they are in the electric bill.
Okay,
But those are things that we need to look at as well.
They just sent us a bill called street lighting. So I don't know.
oh,
like,
Liberty
what-
does?
Yeah,
Oh, that's nice.
You know,
So so
It probably includes the electricity, but typically the lights on the other ones are, like, we're paying like a rental fee too.
So I talked to Bob Henry about Route 4 lighting. Cause I'm talking about the signage they were talking about in the blah, 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 blah. Anyway. And he indicated that what he understood was that the state sends us a bill, which is to him, low, not low, but not a crazy number. It's something that's manageable. But does that include like lighting here at this emergency operations center, outside lighting?
No,
We don't know.
that's just this building's light. Everything on this site is paid through our meter. The stuff that's out on the street that's on telephone poles is.
That's what this bill is. Okay. And that would include those 4 lights at.
I'm assuming it does, but I have not ever checked it, and it's just, yeah, we haven't looked at that yet. But again, as I've said before, the fact that we're supposed to be digging up that area with some of the water line and stuff, this would be the time if we need to add or modify lights and or sidewalks.
I want
So
to.
these are things that we're gonna wanna look
I
at.
want to talk with you about that, but not about the budget part, so.
You have enough on your plate, but I remember a couple of years ago, vaguely, there was a story in the Valley News about Lebanon had upgraded all of their lighting, went to LED, and it paid for itself. Like they got all new lights, and yet they have a lower electric bill. After paying for all new light posts, they still have lower costs because the difference in electricity costs, I guess.
Yes.
So,
It's-
okay,
well,
so
I mean, like,
you're aware
If
of
you
it.
look at what, a 75 watt bulb, you know, it's like 12 watts or 11 watts of LED power. So it's
Yeah.
like, it's really a
It's
huge
phenomenal.
difference.
Yeah.
I think you'd find that the upgrades in the fire station and at the highway department have paid for themselves.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
okay,
the issue right now is finding somebody who will do them where we don't have to just write the check.
yeah.
You know, the issue is typically either get a grant or they give you a no interest, hey, you'll pay this for 5 years and then you pay the electricity. And the bill ends up usually less anyway, because the combination of the light and the electricity.
Yeah,
used.
all right, so you're on top of it.
Yeah, we're in the early stages of those conversations.
When your third arm's free.
But at this point, the line item in the budget, as far as we know, electricity bill. But not light replacement, lamp replacement. For instance, if we got a mercury vapor, that has to be replaced with an LED, that kind of thing. That's
It
not.
does
it.
not cover that. And if
Right.
it's a Liberty light, cause you know, usually the stuff that's on their poles and on their power pole.
Yeah.
Is theirs. If a mercury burns out, they have to either replace it or upgrade it themselves.
Okay.
But
that
the
bill-
issue now is we're gonna just see if we can get them to do a bunch of upgrades.
Send form. Okay.
Street lights good?
Thank you.
Can you tell me what ML stands for? Street lighting ML.
Well, we don't see the full.
Oh, it's in the
line.
description.
On
I don't know.
Uh,
I was there when I got here.
the whole Excel, it just says ML as well, like.
Main line.
Main line, maybe?
This powerful.
Yeah, it's not, real. It's not a big deal.
It might be.
Might be.
Well, because I was wondering if it somehow led to, meaning it was the electricity only, that's why I was opening.
Not anything, if any indication of what we've had in here before and where things were charged, I would not think that that's the case.
Is this something we can, since you're gonna be working on it, see if we can identify what that might have meant?
Well, the goal would be is if we're gonna upgrade all this, we would actually have to go through. Cause there should be a list of meters on there and we'd have to find out where they're coming from. How are they doing this?
How about meter lighting?
That's what I bet it is, metered.
Metered lighting?
Yeah.
Well, there you go. So
Might be.
All right, let's move on then. Okay, how about cemeteries?
Cemetery back up at page 7.
4195.
Is it, we talked about it there?
I didn't add it because we just talked about it today.
Okay. One thing on the cemeteries outside of what you're looking at. There used to be a line item in there that had for like major maintenance items, and I think they used to run like 15,000. We need to have something along those lines going forward between 15 and 20,000. We had to spend nearly $10,000 to take the tree down that was supposed to be taken down 4 years ago and took out a stone that can't be replaced, but the issue is we have these things everywhere. And we're gonna have to spend some money and there's cemeteries that have washouts. If we have to go run gravel, at least the gravel should be charged to that cemetery. And most of the cemeteries bar, save one. Doesn't have hardly any money in there. That's usable in their trusts.
Right.
So it's like, there's only one, I think it's Wells that has a ton of money, am I correct? I think that's the one.
So we have a new cemetery
We have a cemetery commission, they're
that's just starting.
currently in the process of doing the rounds and gathering some information to make some comments. But from the town's perspective, we are required to do perpetual maintenance, which means we have to have something in there to do things like what we had to do this year. We had to take $9,500 just out of the general fund with no line item for it.
Would you call that like
I would call it cemetery maintenance, and it's like, we don't know if we have to define it any better than that, but we just.
I don't know if it'd be contingency funding.
Well, I mean, these guys are, the committee itself is trying to come up with a list of things that need to be done.
Yeah.
And they're working on that, but at the CIP meeting
Will they do a fundraiser?
earlier,
Or a fund drive?
there was no, they're not there yet.
No.
And they don't think they're gonna be there for at least another month.
Yeah, the issue is most of their stuff,
To have done,
most of the stuff at the cemeteries won't technically apply to the CIP fund.
right,
You know, so the issue becomes, we have to have it in the operation side, and we just need to make sure we cover all items, and we know that's one, because it just happened.
Yeah. And I'm half being a smart ass, but half thinking we should maybe have a contingency on there for every 6 or 8 years, something big happens. And we have to do something every 3 years.
Well, you know, if,
If it's not something you have to maybe budget for every,
But reserve fund for that.
Okay.
And, well, I don't know, it doesn't really count as capital.
it's not capital, the issue is. You know, if we have, we know there's something gonna come, and you have $20,000 in the budget right now for current. We know we're gonna have a $30,000 repair coming that we have to do, we gotta do it next year, we can encumber that $20,000, carry it, and then have next year's operations budget have 20,000 in it, use 10 of it to go with the old 20. So we can do that.
well, and I was thinking if they have a contingency they can't touch without permission from the select board, they can say, hey, this came up, we need it, and the select board says that's good. We authorize you to do it, and they do it.
To be honest, the way, if we said it, if you just said we're gonna put $20,000, and I'm just using that as a,
Yeah.
whatever. Because it's not a specific function, any of these kind of big things that happen, they all go to the select board. They have to sign any purchase order over $500.
Okay, so it's what I said was a non.
It's gonna be at the meeting, to have the conversation about, we gotta go spend $10,000 because
I didn't know
Bob
if
ran
the-
into a tree and somebody's gotta cut it down.
So that the new trustees of the cemetery, they can't act on their own.
No,
Okay, I didn't know that.
they can make a decision about what needs to be done, but they have to still go to the select board to make a request.
Their funds are super limited because they can't spend the funds in the capital reserve, just the interest that's generated from them. So the actual money, like when you have a barrel pot stays there to the end, you can only spend it.
so,
And what we do is the town pays for it. And then we send a request to the trustees to refund us for whatever we can. But like when we were talking about that particular fund, we only had like $170 that we could use. And we had to spend 9,000.
so you're advocating for another line item
Yes.
called cemetery maintenance?
Yes.
Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes. And then we pick a number to put it in there, but we do have to have something out, you know,
Yeah. no,
It's a
I
start,
hear you.
so-
That-
How much is it gonna cost to clean up the tree?
it costs $9,500 for that one.
Oh, I know which one it is.
We needed they had,
Multiple times.
that one required a crane and there's others that are gonna require the same.
How many,
Trees keep growing.
how many cemeteries do we have?
12.
But we had a bid of 3 years ago, $1,400.
I heard they had 7,500 in it 3 years ago and they never spent it.
No, we had a bid, an estimate of $1,400
Okay.
to take it down.
Well, just the problem is the crane, and if they weren't using a crane, they were taking a big risk.
Yeah, well, they're insured.
And
But
these
not
are-
for the, yeah,
Yeah,
that's not.
Yeah, but then the headstones are broken.
Yeah, you know.
You know.
If you take a branch down, it takes out a head.
Alright, so we wanna add a line item, is everybody okay with adding a line item called cemetery maintenance?
Yeah.
Is everybody good with that? Is there any issues there?
Sounds like you
So
have to.
looking at the bottom line,
We set that first, let's get the, go ahead. Let's go, did we have that? We're good with
I did.
that? Alright,
Yes.
and then the next question would be, how much do we wanna put in?
Seems as
What's
though
your
we need
recommend-
10 grand at a minimum, doesn't it?
At a minimum, I would say, you know, my understanding was they used to put like 15 in several years ago, and I'm like, if we, just so we have something to start with,
Right,
because then it becomes a budgeting thing. If we spend 17,000,
I understand.
it's like the next year we can look and see, but we just have to have some place to start, and 10 will work, but that was for that one project. I don't know what else happens.
I have a feeling since these guys are going through and looking at everything and they're gonna come up with a list, that they're gonna come up with a lot of money, things to do,
Yeah,
you know?
it's not $1,000 a month, that's good, 10 grand's a good number.
I mean, I think it's a place to start. That's what we just had to
Right.
spend. And if we, like I
Placeholder.
say, if we spend 17 next year, we know we've got to go up to 20.
Okay,
I mean, I don't know if that.
Anybody have any-
Cemeteries, 14,
I don't think I was gonna
and
say,
they're all active?
go ahead, Bob.
2023 was 16,800.
Yep.
2024 was 37,400. 2025 was 69,000. Was that this stuff?
That's the budget.
I know, but was that like
We
things like the tree and things like that that caused that? So is this,
No, we actually hired 2 part-timers to mow all the grass. Cause for a while there, the grass wasn't getting mowed at the cemeteries.
yeah, I was looking around trying to find that.
We didn't have, yeah, we didn't have our summer seasonal staff for a while. We
Okay.
finally filled our staff and we're getting things taken care of. And the 2 people we had were awesome. We know both of them would come back. We don't, but one of them we may find some other use for.
Did one retire?
I don't.
Nobody's retired yet.
That's a different one. I don't understand why we
Seems
have
like
them
a
in
mess.
cemeteries. And they're
I mean,
active.
Well, when you say active, they're not active where they're taking additional burials. They're active that they're town responsibility. And we have to maintain them even if they're ancient.
How does the town?
That's state law.
I mean, there are private ones too, in addition.
Yeah, in addition to those, but some of those private ones, like when nobody takes care of them anymore, they kind of go to
About a
us.
boat anchor.
I see that running 120
Exactly.
with that big, I was trying to figure out where the big jump happened. I was seeing that 120 now.
Yeah.
Seems like a natural subject for the committee to have a fund drive.
Yeah.
I mean, I
However,
think pass the hat in town and
talk
everybody
to
show
Scott
up.
Johnston, he's running it.
I mean,
Yeah, he's the select board rep.
probably raise $25,000 in. No,
You don't have to put any money into the health thing anymore, you can put it into the system.
No, but, Bob, don't ever stop it, they just gotta push him out there, it's okay. All right, so we're all agreed, we're gonna add a new line item, cemetery maintenance, $10,000.
Yeah.
That,
Sounds reasonable to me.
there we go, cemetery's done. Thank you. Health,
Health is very down the list, hang on.
But it's like my hearing's going, and I thought you said help.
health is another thing, what is it, help is always a good thing.
Sal, were we calling that line for cemetery maintenance? What was that line being called? That last one we just,
Cemetery maintenance,
cemetery maintenance is what we're.
yep,
All right, now we're on page 18.
okay, health administration, here we go.
The 120 line for the salary, I just put the 2.8% COLA on it. We have not had a health officer the entire year. So the 225 line, the taxes, that's just up a little bit for the increase. I can always take the increase out because there's not an actual employee that's working it. The 560 line dues and subscriptions, there is a couple of things that we paid from that line. And I think I've been charging when the state charges us for testing the water at the beach to this account. Then
But there's no, so you didn't have any expenses this year?
not yet, but
Okay.
last year. I think that the 165 from
Mhm.
last year was where I was charging those water testing. Figuring it was like a health item.
So we have no one in this position. Right,
Correct.
and so the question is, if we were to hire one, what would we want to pay them?
The issue is. And it's just like every other thing that we talk about. The issue is. The health officer position is probably a part-time in the 12 to 15,000 range,
Okay,
but we have so many things that have to be addressed. Right now, somebody's gonna be in there a lot. For like a year or two, until we get it cleaned up, whether there's at least 15. Junkyards.
Yeah.
That have to be addressed. There's multiple other
the septic regulation.
health, there's in septic and
watershed.
everything else, there's failed septic systems, there's actually a lot of administrative work that goes with it. I'm not at this time recommending you increase it, but I think even if we leave it at that number for the sake of argument, we're gonna end up going over budget when if we get one.
What are the qualifications you're looking for a health?
There's a whole state
There is.
law thing that they have to meet and require, and if they don't know it, they can go take courses and trainings, and we've been kind of borrowing / stealing Enfields for help.
Yep.
Okay. But their building inspector and health officer are the same person,
Same, right?
and I'm trying to convince our building inspector to add this to his list. But he's been talking.
No, not
Yeah.
Tate Armstrong.
Yeah, well, but he's at, well, but he's talking to the Enfield guy, learning and trying to figure it out, and he's on the fence, and I don't think he really wants to, but I think he wants to help out, so I'm not
Right.
sure.
Ted's a good guy, but 25 years ago on the job site, he was named 10 to 2 Ted for a reason.
Okay,
But he's a good guy, I like Ted.
Yeah.
But take him around.
well, but I will say, he addresses all the things in a
Oh, he's
timely
good.
fashion.
I do.
There's no question that he's following it,
Oh,
so.
yeah.
Any
If
reason
he's
to
willing,
change?
No.
I'm gonna say for a budget perspective, leave it alone, and if we have to go over 2 years in a row, we go over, and hopefully it'll get back to that.
Everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
Good. Move on. Very good. Thank you very much.
Um,
Recreation?
There was a couple other lines. In her.
Oh, I'm sorry.
4414-10390 was the.
Where are we on?
Pest control, is that what you're saying?
Oh,
broke it out.
Veterinary services?
Yeah, the whole health is actually considered 4414 and 4415. And there's just, we have to break it out that way because we reported to the Department of Revenue that way.
But if you look on the change sheet, where's $100 difference in other health, right?
Yeah, the main one, I just wanted to draw your attention to the veterinary services.
Yeah.
We're planning on continuing to pay Upper Valley Humane Society the $2,000 to take the dogs there when the
Yes.
police catch them.
Yeah, it's unlimited, and we pay them a contract, and when the police come up with a dog or an animal they have to take care of, they can take them there.
That's an annual.
That's an annual.
Okay.
Were they easy to work with?
It's been a lot.
Are they pretty easy to work with?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, the police asked to get it back active because it was really becoming a nightmare in town with the amount of animal issues they were having and not having any place to take them, and they came and asked last year. This is the second year we're back in,
Okay.
and we used to be in it before, and then it went away.
They have a new executive director that just started. That's why I was curious.
And
No
then,
change.
and then the last health line is the 4415-10690 other health and supplies. And we just increased that to $200. Cause
So-
this year so far we spent $120.
So it's the 680 line, right?
Yep.
And so this says beach bacterial testing. Didn't we just talk about that being under a different line item somewhere, or am I just?
Yeah, I think I got confused. I don't know, that $50 must be a subscription that you
Oh.
get.
Yep, understood, Carolyn. Yep.
And that's the last for health.
We good?
It's so.
On the signs?
No, yeah, recreation.
Page 19.
But
Okay.
So
You're telling me.
The first recreation line for the salary.
what
the,
number is it?
Uh, 4520
Page
and
19.
dash 120.
Parks and Recreation. Yep.
Page 19.
Yep, just.
Yep.
the next one.
3/4 of the way down.
I need to go home.
That's why you're ready. New executives. Man, man.
All right.
Heck,
The person that was doing recreation stuff resigned a couple months ago, so it's currently open. We really just cut it a little bit based on what we were paying that person, and I think they were only doing like one event a month, if that. And then the tax line, that's based off of the salary. Contracted services, the 390 account. We actually had cleaning. No, I don't know what we were charging there.
so that was the Muskoma Youth Sports League. That was the Muskoma
Yeah.
Youth Sports
The
League,
bane of Sal's existence.
the bane of my existence.
Community.
They
Well,
haven't
you
asked
know,
for
they-
anything else.
Yeah, it's a mess over there. We gave them about this year, but the year before, we gave them $6,500 to the Enfield boys. And they have never given us an accounting of what they actually used it for.
Gotcha.
They canceled some of the baseball programs over there. There's a new guy, a new recreation director. Working over in Enfield, who I actually know a little bit. He's a good guy. I haven't really had a chance to, I want to get him a little settled down. And see what's going on over there, but that's what that 3,700 is Ed
That was the second year.
asked for 3,700 and
Oh, okay.
he said, give us the accounting, give us the seat on the board, give us the things we wanted, and we haven't gotten anything back from them ever, so that's what's going on there.
So I left it at
Sure.
0.
I think a zero is probably a good number.
And, just so everyone's aware, like if we had a mid-year thing we wanted to get involved with, or we had to invest in something, there is a recreation revolving fund. And it's tied also to the after-school program. So there's actually a pretty decent fund balance in there. So if we actually needed something, there is funds that aren't necessarily just this.
We'll see that somewhere else.
Any other issues? Good, okay, health, recreation's good, cultural,
And recreation,
other cultural and recreation, is that what we're looking at?
4581, right below.
That is the $2,000 for Old Home Days. So we kept it at $2,000.
Okay. Anybody have any issues with funding that? No.
Still old with the E at the end.
It's COHD.
I just don't.
Patriotic? Patriotic?
The line below it, 4583-20-810. Every now and then we have to replace an American flag. That's where we charge it. We kept it at $500.
That's the one here.
Oh, no, there's one now, too, that we put up there a few years ago. Yeah.
Of which it was brought to our attention that we are violating flag policy. We don't have it lit and we don't take it down.
Well,
Yeah, that is definitely a violation.
but it is
Yeah.
policy, not
I
law.
thought we had.
That's the deal, Colin.
I'm not aware of- I don't, this is a report I got like 2 days ago and I have not even had a chance to look at it, so.
Carrie Ann's gonna take care of that.
Yeah, Carrie Ann's all over that.
Well,
She's actually gonna go out every morning and put the flag up, take it down.
On everybody, and get mileage.
somebody gonna blow the,
Yeah.
sorry, hang on a minute.
I have a flag at home and I light it with this solar
Me
light.
too. If it's lighted, it doesn't have to come down.
That's
Light
correct.
has to be-
No, I agree. I'm just saying, I was told it's not lit,
Right.
so I don't know what the situation
So
is.
she'll be climbing up there. Oh. We'll need a crane for that.
So if we can put a $10 solar light at the bottom, the flag can stay up there.
That's correct.
So do we have money in the line? to take
We
$10?
can cover the cost. I just haven't even
Sure.
found out what the situation is. It's not a cost issue.
Right.
It's,
Chet, I believe we just resolved, that's what the situation is.
Yeah.
If there is some sort of light at the bottom of that flag.
Well, I understand that.
coming up with,
I just,
then we're
but
good.
I just have to see how we're gonna power it and everything else, so.
Get one of those stick in the ground things, you know.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, I gotta see
We'll
the
be
height.
running
I don't
that
know.
over
It may not illuminate anything. Some of those are not that strong. So.
The top guys are more better.
Yes.
Whatever you guys think, I don't.
Yeah.
We'll look at it. I
I'd be
just,
mindful.
this is a report I just came, probably shouldn't even open my mouth until I.
No,
I
no,
usually I don't usually like to bring up something until I know the situation and I didn't.
we have money in the budget to do with patriotic things, so let's get that done.
We're good.
Yeah, we were dealing with the same thing a few years ago.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, next would be debt service,
Debt service, I kept the
page
same.
20.
47 of it.
So far in 2025 to date, we spent 17,000 on interest for the tax anticipation note. I'm hoping this year our cash flow is definitely wonky, so as we get more fund balance, it should ease up. So I just kept it the same and budgeted for 15,000 for 2026.
So again, there's 3 items,
Wait, what line are we on?
we're 4711,
Mine says zero.
47.
Mine says 0 too.
21 and 4723, right? All 3 of those are
Yes,
together under debt service.
My 4711 shows 0000.
That's
Yeah,
correct.
it's 4723 that shows what she's talking about.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I put,
10,000?
Well, it's a 10,000 budget, but we've paid 15,258.
Okay, all right, I'm on your line now, thank you.
yeah, and we're gonna, I think the bond anticipation that would fall under this one, or is that gonna
Yes.
be capital reserve?
Bond anticipation note, because the bond principal will be a liability, the bond interest is an expense.
And you said I think you said if we have the proper unassigned balance, we wouldn't have this expense, do I
That's
understand that?
It would fund balance,
If-
we wouldn't need the tax anticipation note.
If we had 1.6 million, right now we have enough money to get to November 1st, but we don't get any money.
Right.
Until December 1st.
So we gotta borrow.
So, well, we're still borrowed from the summer because
Yeah.
we've had other things that are off. And if you want, I know you're really anticipating watching the select board meeting from the other night. If you watch that, you'll also hear about. the fact that
thing to do when I get home.
It's, we're also seeing a 3% increase in receivables from taxes. That we're trying to address, so we actually are behind like 250 or 300,000 from the past 7 years of where we should be with tax collections. So there's other issues playing into all of this.
And paying out our bills sometime. We haven't historically done that. We've
Wow, okay.
held significant payments in order to maintain cash.
All right, so any issues? We think that the total of $15,000 that we have in these categories is gonna work for us?
I
We
think,
need
yeah,
more?
I think we're gonna wanna increase that to 15, because we don't know, next year could be a very similar year.
On the
Until we start to really see some. Cause while we can say, we expect our undesignated fund balance to go up. Cash is still cash, and we don't have cash right now regardless of,
Yeah.
even if we had a $300,000 balance, we have.
All right, so what I'm hearing
Gotcha.
is that the budget committee is gonna have, we'll take the 5,000 as debt service interest, and then we're gonna have 15,000 in the line. 2981.
Yeah.
Is that? Yeah. That'll be, Carrie, you got that? Thank you.
Actually, they're both 2981, so
Ah.
4721, 4723, yeah, I have to do the whole thing.
Yes, sorry. So that's gonna be 15 for us.
But we're gonna get all that back.
That's good. Capital outlay,
We're not using this one anymore,
we're not using this.
let's do that 0.
Zero it out.
Well, that's good, we don't have to deal with that.
So anytime the department needs capital, it's going through CIP, or it just gets paid out of their own expense line in the department.
Gotcha.
Any other business?
Everybody's gonna go home and watch the select board thing
That's
and
the-
report back.
That's correct. All right, so we did good tonight, this is great, thank you all very much.
Are we-
Go ahead, Bob.
Are we being recorded or something?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
Yeah, so.
so don't say anything you don't wanna have general.
I just figured you must have really warmed up because you took your hat off.
We could do that.
The heat was building up.
My brain throbbing.
Yeah, it's lovely.
It's not a headache, it's just cool.
Nice job, Sal, keeping us on.
Anything else,
To adjourn.
all right,
There we go.
do I hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstains? We are now adjourned. Thank you very much. See you on October 2nd.